How's it going, everybody? This is Luca Majno, and we're back with Learn to Unlearn, episode 33. We're doing good. This is a different episode, and it's special to me because it has to do with giving thanks. And this is how I wanted to do my show this week because it's really important to me. It's the basis of everything. And I will explain. This is called giving thanks. And as strange as it may sound to some, this is one of the most basic and foremost steps of healing. It's one of the most important things that you can do to start your healing is to give thanks. And people go, well, for what? Well, for my life, for my health, and for one more day of living, perhaps, and less pain too, which is really nice. I'm not experiencing any pain. And as some of you already know from me, it comes from a prophet by the name of Tecumseh, who was a Shawnee. He lived in the Ohio River Valley in the 1800s. Before we give thanks, though, I just want to give an update because I've had some serious issues this week, and I didn't even think I was going to be able to do a show because it's been so up and down. It's been really crazy, driving me absolutely berserk, especially this morning. You know, then the computer screws up, and you want to do a show on thanks, and then you end up being so angry you want to throw the computer out the window. So it it wasn't really conducive to giving thanks for a while there, but imagine how your stomach feels when you're throwing up. It's that, you know, that push and that pull, whatever you want to call it. I was experiencing exactly the same thing from the urinary tract standpoint. After the first flow stops, no blood in the urine. Of course, now I'm doing good that way, but all of a sudden you get this incredible push, and we call it a spasm. And this is what I've been having for a week now, and it's pretty intense. So, you know, you have to literally stand there and, you know, hope it's going to stop and just do what you can and let it go through the motions of throwing up when you have to, right? Well, this is another one of those episodes. So I doubled up on my saw palmetto, which relaxes the prostate, because I have a prostate the size of a 75-year-old. So that's what the problem is here. And it's enveloping, it's folding over on the bladder. And I had 3 TURP procedures, TURP, if you want to check that out, to remove some of the prostate and get it to, you know, shave parts of the bladder off is what they call it. So this has been my week. It's getting better. Now the cramps are less long, but check this out. It's like 2 hours of sleep every night. You wake up automatically every second hour. I kid you not. 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock to go to the bathroom. And you have this routine that you have to go through. And it's been a steady, rough routine around 8 or so as far as pain goes. But it scaled back to about a 5.5 or so. And I feel like I'm doing okay. So this is kind of why I'm really wanting to give thanks to the herbs and the plants and my medicines today, because without them, I would not be where I am. And of course, everybody knows what chemo and radiation is. So that was not an option for me at all. So Tecumseh said in a talk one day, Tecumseh, the Shawnee prophet in the 1800s, he says one day, he says, upon opening your eyes in the morning, if you can't find a reason to give thanks for your eyes, for your breath, for your own life, then the fault lies only in yourself. pretty strong words and very, very accurate. In the Mi'kmaq tradition, where I learned uh, First Nations, First Nations life and how to give thanks. See, for me, I was born on the other side. I was born in money, basically. Anything you want. The dysfunctional rich family that would go on trips and on voyages and on summer vacations, and but it was a really, really hard life. So now I'm finding out that there's a whole different part of life the last 30 years or so, completely different side of life that they don't want you to look at, that they're trying their best to destroy, and which we're not taught about in school. You know, that meme about that kid, the kid sitting there looking up, and it says that he recognizes over 1,000 logos of different corporations, but he can't name 10 plants in the backyard. This is where we're going. So I'm slowing this down, if not halting it, where I'm living anyway, at my address. And in the Mi'kmaq language, they say Wela'lin, which means thank you. And this episode wants to show appreciation and respect towards all our relations, all our life around us. The Indigenous will tell you what that means when they say all our relations. The Lakota, you may have heard it before. The Lakota from the Midwest, they say Mitakuye Oyasin, pronounced different ways. Mitakuye Oyasin. Some people say it differently depending on where you live. And the Mi'kmaq say Emsetnogama, which means all my relations. And what they mean by that is the birds flying in the sky, the insects buzzing around, the four-legged, the two-legged, the fish in the streams and in the oceans. That's what that means. Those are all our relations. We're supposed to be all related in life. And when I learned that 25, 30 years ago, I just fell to the floor. It's like, thank you. You know, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting to be told that be proven right. And the Indigenous are going to be the people that are going to have all these secrets to getting back to good health and to life as we see it when this is all over. Oren Lyons, faith keeper, teacher, Six Nations Confederacy, and what is now New York. He says, we give thanks. This is what we do. We give thanks. He says, we make it rain. Maybe, just maybe, there's one person out there watching or reading this today that wants to make that first connection, just like I did that one day. When I first heard that way of speaking, the use of the words, unbelievable. It's the one we're not taught in school, and there's a very good reason for that. We're kept away from spiritual growth, labeled all our lives for being different, when it's exactly those differences that should be celebrated, and they make us unique. But they don't want us unique. Rockefeller already said he didn't want a nation of thinkers. He wants a nation of workers, because if you have a nation of thinkers, then people are going to start waking up to the calamities that they've been making us live for the last 80 years. And this show is about healing, so I can't help being a bit political every now and then. But this episode wants to thank all the plant energies, the unsung heroes of our healing and awakening to health. Those that willingly, check this out, those that willingly give their lives for us so that we can live. That's the kind of thing that melted my heart when I heard that the first time. You know, the animals and the plants, they give their own life so that we can, fulfill ours. And we know next to nothing about that. And most of us couldn't care less, as long as we can go to the grocery store and we have it on the shelf. I guess with a medical condition such as the one I have, or I was told I have, it suddenly makes you appreciate life all that much more when you're forced to slow down and to smell the flowers when you walk by, right? Uh, so as I learned today of yet another plant in my backyard that my friend Chris helped me with, I was going through those really bad spasms. And he looked at me and he says, "Oh," he says, "I have a plant for you, and it's right in your backyard. And guess what it's called? Stinging nettle." Say what? Stinging nettle. You know, those really prickly plants that you touch that really, really hurt, and that just remember, they remind you that they're there. Yeah. Stinging nettle. What he did, he always has a garbage bag in the back pocket just for picking up stuff and for collecting. Grabs it, puts it around his wrist, grabs the plant, and carefully. We gave tobacco too. Before you take anything, you always give, which is really nice. So try that next time when you want to ask your neighbor for something, or your brother or your sister or whoever. When you need something, give them something first, and they'll go, "Oh, what's that for?" And "Can I help you? What do you need?" Automatically. Don't have to be native, but it's beautiful because when you need something, that's what you end up doing. You go to the elder and you give him tobacco, or you give him something, and he'll say, "Thank you. What can I do for you?" It's a giving of a mutual respect. But anyway, stinging nettle is found in any backyard, just not even 500 feet in the backwoods here, right in the back of the apartment. And I took it in, and you do the same thing as I do with my SCACT. When I prepare it, I do a prayer, and I thank it for giving its life, which I did, and I made a tea out of it, and lo and behold, medicine that works, it's not all of a sudden, "Oh, the pain's gone." It doesn't work that way. The medicine that really works, you probably won't even notice the difference. It'll be so subtle, and it'll be so deep when it works, and that's kind of what happened with the stinging nettle, as with the other plants that I have, like the yarrow and the milk thistle, the saw palmetto. This show, it's important for this show to thank all of those healing plants and medicines. And these are to combat the problems that this world has created and that we are trying to deal with. So I think it's really appropriate to stop, because life is so fragile, and just give thanks and perhaps show intention, which I believe is, one of the most important, if not the most important motivator towards healing. It's all about intention. It's all about where you're at, what you want to do. And this show is supposed to help teach those things. And I think we're very blessed to be able to be in contact with those elements and be able to say, wow, there is hope. There is another way, except for, the medical establishment, which everybody runs to when something's wrong. Excuse me. So just a quick show to teach everybody, just to remind everybody, not to teach everybody, to remind everybody to stop and smell the flowers and say thank you for your health and for your life and for whatever life gives you, because the person next door has it a lot harder than you do. Some people are in wheelchairs today. And I just want to pray for those people at the end of this show and hope that their pain will subside. And it's for everybody who's experiencing difficulties. This is what this week's show is all about. And healing is a tough journey, and it has to be consistent. And I have to learn that. Me and my cheesecake have to learn that. So this being said, thank you so much for watching. And I'm not going to apologize for the leaning towards Native American issues, but this is what's coming. This is what is going to help us live and to help us survive and thrive again. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.